Hi everyone! Welcome to Souped Up Recipes. Today we're making popcorn chicken. I'm sure everybody loves these little crunchy chicken bits. What I'm sharing today is a Taiwanese version, the street food style, very authentic. I'm also going to show you my secret on how to make the chicken extra crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. So let's get started. First, we're gonna make jiao yan, which is the Chinese salt and pepper. You can use regular salt and pepper for sure, but it is always good to know the authentic way to make it. Very simple. Turn on the flame, use low heat. Put the cast iron skillet on. We'll use 2 kinds of peppercorns in this recipe. 2 tablespoons of Sichuan peppercorn. It is not spicy at all, but it has a numbing effect. It tingles your tongue and lips in a good way. If this is the first time you try Sichuan peppercorn, I will suggest you to use half of the amount because it can be overpowering. 1 tablespoon of white peppercorn. It is a little spicier than the black peppercorn. The aroma and the flavor also last longer even if you grind it, which is why we use white peppercorn in this recipe. And yes, you can use black peppercorn, but be aware that the peppery flavor will be diminished as the time goes by. Toast them for a few minutes. Keep an eye on the Sichuan peppercorn. Make sure they don't get burned. If the Sichuan peppercorn turns to a black color, it will bring a bitter taste. Take them out and let it cool. Turn the heat back on. Same as before, use low heat. We're gonna bake some salt. This helps to evaporate any moisture that is in the salt, so the jiao yan will last longer in the container. The reason that we didn't toast the salt with the peppercorns together is that my salt is very fine. It takes different time to bake it. If you use coarse salt, you can toast everything together. This just needs a few minutes. Turn off the heat and allow it to cool. While waiting, we can start grinding the peppercorns. Once the peppercorns are nice and fine, we add the salt. Again, if you use coarse salt, you can grind everything together. Just let it blend for a few seconds so everything can be mixed well. You can sprinkle this on barbecue, potato wedges. I use it to infuse soup, congee. Anything that you would like to put some salt and pepper, you can use this. Store it in a sealed container. It will last a couple months. Next, let's move on to the chicken. I got 2 pieces of chicken breast here, about 500 grams, a little bit more than a pound. We're gonna slice it into strips first, then cut it into these small bite-sized pieces, about 2/3 of an inch cube. Most street vendors in Taiwan will use bone-on chicken thigh, which is the part of the chicken that I love, and I agree that bone-on chicken is more flavorful, but I know a lot of people prefer boneless breast meat, and I just got some in the fridge, so that's what we're using today. Marinate it with 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon plus 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of 5 spice powder, 3 cloves of garlic that I pressed with a garlic presser, 1 teaspoon of grated ginger, a few shakes of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. If you want this to be gluten-free, you can use cornstarch instead. Cracking 1 egg white. Don't throw the egg yolk. Use it to make General Tso's chicken. So delicious. Last ingredient is my secret. Fresh juice from 1/4 of an orange, about 2 tablespoons. Normally I will use Chinese cooking wine here, but I got so many people asking me for the replacement for cooking wine. Here is the answer. You can use the same amount of orange juice. It's a great replacement. Not only it adds some nice citrusy and lots of moisture to the chicken, but also the enzyme in the juice helps to tenderize the meat. But this only works if the recipe asks for a small amount of cooking wine. If the recipe needs more than ½ cup of cooking wine, you can't replace it with orange juice. Mix until everything is well combined. Cover it, let it sit for 15 minutes. Do not let it sit for too long or else the enzyme will over-tenderize the meat. Normally, people use breadcrumbs to create that crunchy outside layer. Today, we're using sweet potato starch. This is the thick version. It is still sweet potato starch but comes in a chunkier form, as you can see these little bits. That makes the popcorn chicken extra crunchy, and it's gluten-free. Do not say no to this recipe just because you don't know where to buy this kind of starch. Don't worry, I got tips for you. Cornstarch and regular potato starch are great replacement. You can use a spray bottle to turn the powder form starch into the thick, chunky form. Super simple. I showed how to do that in my sesame chicken recipe. I'll put the video link in the description so you can go check it out. We'll need 1 cup of that. And get a clean bowl, cover the bottom with a layer of sweet potato starch, then add in the chicken. Not all of them, just 10 to 12 pieces, depends on how big your bowl is. Slightly dust more sweet potato starch to cover the chicken. Use chopsticks to stir it a little bit so they can be coated well. If you see there are 2 pieces sticking together, go ahead and separate them. Toss it a few times. It's gonna be a little dusty, but it is way faster compared to coating the chicken piece by piece. Take them out. Make sure to shake off the excess starch. Put it away. There will be some starch left in the bowl. We're gonna use it for next batch. Just repeat the same thing. You probably need to do this in 5 batches. Once you've finished everything, let them sit for 10 to 15 minutes so the coating has enough time to bond together. During this time, we're going to start heating the oil. I'm using my favorite hammered mark carbon steel wok. I'm selling this product now. Just a little extra information. If you already purchased my wok, you should definitely use it to make this recipe because deep frying is a great chance to improve the slickness and reinforce the seasoning of your wok. If you don't have a wok yet, consider buying one. It is the must-have cookware in Chinese cuisine. I'll put the link in the description. Go check it out. Okay, we're gonna heat the oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Add in the chicken. Don't put them all in one time because you don't want to crowd the wok, or else it will take forever for them to get crispy, and by that time, the chicken is already dry out. So definitely fry them in batches. Gently push them so they don't stick together. After you add the chicken, the temperature will drop down a little bit. Right now it's at 328. We're gonna keep frying them at medium heat and wait until the temperature rises back up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It will take a few minutes. During this time, you can get your basil ready. We call it 九层塔, also known as Thai basil. It is a little different than the Italian sweet basil because it smells very intense. You should be able to get this easily in most Oriental markets. And yes, you can use the Italian sweet basil in this recipe. The leaves look pretty clean, so I'm not going to wash them or else it will be hard to dry them completely. We will need a handful like this. Go back and check the chicken. It should become a light golden color. Let's see the temperature. It should be around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, you can just go by the color. These chicken pieces are so small, you can't go wrong with it. At this point, I'm going to quickly add in the basil. When I say quickly, it means really quick. Also, quickly block the oil splashing with a lid and wait for the intense bubbling to stop. My basil was dry. Imagine if you throw in some wet basil in there. So, be safe in the kitchen. I would suggest to fry the basil for less than 10 seconds in total, or else you will burn them. Turn off the heat, take everything out. There will be some little crunchy bits left in the wok. Get a strainer to fish them out. Fry the next batch. You probably need to fry everything in 3 batches. Normally, I would double fry the chicken, but I'm not doing that today because we're using chicken breast and the pieces are so small, we don't want the chicken to be dry on the inside. If you use chicken thigh and you cut the pieces bigger, you can double fry it so the crunchiness lasts longer. I think we're ready to serve them. Fold some paper towels in, pour all these lovely babies into the bowl. They look so good. Before we eat, don't forget to add a few shakes of the Chinese salt and pepper that we made. It will bring your popcorn chicken to another level. If you like spicy food, add a few shakes of chili flake. Perfect. The basil flavor becomes gentle and less peppery after frying. The bitter taste is gone and now it's delightful. Suggest you to eat the chicken with the basil together. You hear that? So crunchy. The basil just flakes in your mouth. Goes so good with the chicken. I was editing this video at 1 o'clock in the morning. My stomach just can't stop grumbling. Seriously, I can eat this every day. I hope you give this a try soon. If you did, leave me a comment, let me know how it goes. As always, for the printable recipe, you can click the link in the description and go to my website. Don't forget to check out the link for this walk. It will be a great tool for you to learn my recipes and help this channel going. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!